The hashtagshow.co.uk.
Yes!
God, that was so loud it just cut out. That's how loud that stream was. Let's start that again just in case, because that cut out in my ear.
Right, I'll have to go here then.
Right, I'll count you in. 1.
Yes!
he's
Did that
had
cut
to
out?
he's had to distance himself from the microphone, and Gracie's clipping at either end. Episode 100. 1-0. Then I know. 10-0. You know it's 100 episodes from the favourite podcast in the land. Cheeky Mal and DJ Gibbo talking to you for 100 episodes of the HashTag Show.
What a fucking achievement.
The in years to come, when we do a VH1 behind the music, the heroes will then truly understand just how much of a milestone this is. Never has a band been broken up, re-emerged, reassembled as many times as this fucking podcast. But here we are, mate, fighting on. Arguably healthier than we've ever been, stronger than we've ever been, more fucking organised than we've ever been. I tell you what, I'll fucking fight you. I'm going to come down to that fucking park and I'm going to set fire to your caravan and I'm going to fucking murder your family. I tell you what, you've been fighting dogs, now you fight the best. Fucking Jimmy King, you bastard.
I've been away from my wife's house for almost 5 years now. I'm fucking part of my game. I'm fucking ready for you. I'm fucking ready for you. Man, you're fucking, I'm buzzing. No, like
Episode 100, mate.
100. Let me just take that in for a fucking
Let's just take that in. Let's just take it in. Oh, and here's the really weird bit as well, right?
It's actually more than 100 episodes if you want to get technical.
Well, also, yes, true. But we almost to the day we started this 5 years ago.
I was just actually going into the
we
page to find
started
out
this
the exact date.
10th of November 2015.
Oh, and it's the 11th today.
And today we are recording on the 11th of November 2020. It's almost 5 years to the day that we started this podcast, and now we are at 100 episodes.
Amazing, man.
It's amazing, mate.
Like, we can talk, obviously, in this show, we're going to be talking about highlights and blah, blah. But
it's just great to have my pal, you know what I mean, having a laugh and all that. Just bloody wonderful.
It's, it's a wonderful, I've done many things. I've treaded the theatre.
I've treaded the boards. I've treaded the boards, darling.
Glasgow's finest establishments. But this is definitely a standout. I mean, going back for the very first episode to now, nothing's changed as in our attitude to the show. Is just sitting down, a couple of mates. Well, there was 3. But technically, it's just us sitting down, shooting the shit,
mate.
With no holds barred.
No,
just having a laugh or a moan.
Aye, what I enjoy about it the most is, like, obviously the now it feels like, because we've got a bit more, not regular, but I think that obviously
regular, once a week.
But, right, you're right. We've got more. And do you remember at the very start? What did DJ Gibbo say? We need to be doing this every week. And just like, no way, man. Once a month is too many. Look at us now, eh?
But to be fair, I know back then it was all sitting in my shoulders, and I was trying to juggle that with everything else as doing the show. And you, at that time, even you, I think you just felt like you come in, sit for a fucking couple of hours, and walk away, and the show's finished. Now, we've not received all these awards for a brilliantly produced podcast for nothing.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Copy and paste, Control Alt Delete.
There's a bit there, but this, and I'll have to say, this last year odd, and even through this shitty fucking lockdown, this for me is the most enjoyable I have had doing the show.
Aye, totally. Aye. I mean, just the like we've both said it to each other privately, and we've had quite a few messages as well over the years for different heroes that I can only talk personally from personal viewpoint. this has helped me a lot. Like I've not been very good, ups and downs throughout the week. COVID's been brutal. Most people know who listen to this or who listen to my podcast, the Scott Gibson Show, available every Wednesday. They know that, like, my year's been fucked, obviously, with COVID, gigs cancelled. There's nothing happening.
Everybody's, Scott. Everybody's. You're
this
not
has
alone,
been
bro.
I'm in it alone. This has been a good thing for me to do the show, have a laugh. Even after it, even when we're done recording, do you know what I mean? Picks me up for the day, and then when we're editing the videos and that, there's been times when I've been sitting, tears running down my face, man. Do you know what I mean? Editing back the videos. So it's been good for us, and I know that a lot of people have got in touch over the years, which is certainly something that I never thought.
Over the years, what a mad feeling.
I know, mate.
Saying
over
the years,
It doesn't feel like 5 years, though, does it? It does not feel like 5 years. It really doesn't.
2005. I'm just trying. You got the details.
2015. 10th of November.
So
2015 was the first episode, and we are now at the 11th of November 2020, and we're on episode 100. And in between that, we've done 8 live shows, Patreon only specials, live recordings. Done it all, mate. Fucking done it all. Done it all. Done it all, mate.
There's nothing more left today. I'll walk up the woods and go,
blow my brains. No, you'll just slowly walk out of the duck pond. That's what you'll do.
Like the fucking Sopranos, man, with the fucking dressing gown on. But it is, man. You know what? You're right. It does. It picks you up when we have a laugh, and then you've got to focus on editing the video, editing the audio, and then putting it out, and then obviously the feedback, and then before you know it, we're back into doing it again. And the thing that, again, probably just this year, I've realised with the fucking lockdown, the amount of people messaging and saying how much it's helping them getting through the lockdown. And selfishly, like I always do, I don't really care a fuck about anybody else, But with this, a day, because I've realised that it could be some wee guy on the bus going to his work, somebody sitting in the house, somebody having a drink at night, and just enjoying the fucking show and getting a laugh. And this year I realised that other folk are listening and having a laugh in their own wee bubble.
Aye.
And maybe because I'm having a laugh with me and you do it, I'm understanding what it means to mere folk during these times we find ourselves in.
These difficult times. Our thoughts and prayers with the family at these difficult times. I've said, what happened? I'll talk about it in a minute. What
you're off excited because you've lost your fucking flow.
It's fucking episode 100, mate.
No pressure. It's going to be the best one yet.
What was I going to say there? The thing for me is, like, I know I can say it, obviously, because it's me and you. It's me and you and the team. But there's no other podcast like us. There's no other. That's what blows my mind. The fact that there's other Scottish comics out there, or there's other people like mates. There's no other podcast like yours. Yes, all right. We say things that might people find offensive or people think's a bit close to the bone. But you know what? It's just banter, man. And I think if you've been with us for long enough now, you'll know that it's just banter. There's no malice in the show. There's no ill meaning or health. It's just and I hate saying old-fashioned banter, but that's what life used to be like when we could have a laugh about things. And sometimes
was a spade, Scott. And a spade was a spade.
No, I mean, mate. So I've loved doing the show. I can't believe it at 100. I just don't know what to say, mate. I'm buzzing. This whole week, I've been buzzing, making the wee graphics. When we recorded the Square Go special as well, which we'll talk about later on, even this whole week, I've been buzzing, man, because when we first started doing this, I've said it many times before, I'd wanted to do a podcast for years, because I've always had this affection for American stand-up, and I do think that American stand-up and American comedy is years ahead of any comedy in the UK, years ahead of it. And they still have, like, their podcast, they still have, they are really dark, and there's some things, the ones that I listen to, there's things they say, and you're like, holy shit, it's hilarious, man. But in my head, I'm going, if anybody in the UK who was of a recognisable level did that, they'd get shut down. Do you mean? So that's why I'm drawn to it, because it's still that kind of Wild West feeling, the way it's meant to be. But they've always been like years ahead in podcasting, so I had been listening to them for a while and thought, I really want to do that. took me a while to get my own one going when I was comfortable, like, you know, broadcasting, speaking for an hour myself. But this was always what I'd hoped, you know, sitting down with somebody. And it is mad to think that we never knew each other really before this. We just met at an
Doggy car
event.
park.
Do you know what I mean? We met that time doing the lodge when we were burning that family, you know, and trying to run them out the lodge.
I was in my motor fucking cracking one out to hardcore music with six
Remember?
guys with their dogs running and looking at me in the motor.
I always remember
And
that.
you
I'm
were
going,
there
"That-
just out
that
the blue.
Boys get one of the milk float Mercedes, man." And then what it was I remember because there was a guy who had his head through your window, and I think
Aye.
he was sucking you off at the time. And
No,
then
I
the
was
other
spitting on us.
was it right? And then the other
Aye.
boy had his hand on the windscreen because
Yep.
he was still looking in.
Aye,
And I remember you squirted the squirties on him, the windscreen wipers.
Aye,
And I laughed
metal.
and you laughed, and I thought, this boy's got a good sense of humour, man. Know what I mean?
And then
that was it.
banter.
That was it, mate. Imagine that's actually how people had met. Like, imagine
sure
there was
it
like
is.
a podcast, like, or whatever, a show, a double act. How is it you met? A dog in car park, mate. His wife was getting blasted, and I squirted the guy with the windscreen wipers, and I was like, he's a good laugh, that cunt, man. He's a good egg.
He's got banter, man. Let's phone him. We'll meet up for a pint. I actually, hey, listen, let's take it back. No,
Let's
hey,
take it
I
back.
remember the first time I met you. It was outside the toilets of the at the
Classic
Wild
Grand.
Cabaret,
Wild Cabaret, sorry.
and I had
It was like-
you'd finished
it
your
was-
set.
Mate, it was like Rogan meeting Kanye. You were fucking wanting to deep throat me and everything. It was
You better
amazing.
believe it. I was like to you, mate. I'm Jesus. You were like, what? I'm Jesus. I'm God has given
I
me
remember
this gift.
I remember you introduced yourself, and when you shook my hand, you went based in the place, London. And I went, oh, fucking
Well, you know,
you did the wee finger thing on the fucking back of the horn. And I went, he's a good lad. Now you went, based in the place, London. I went, oh, fucking aye, right on, man. Bless you be the
And then I
fruit under his
moonwalked.
eye. Moonwalk back for the couple again.
and then you know, I can't. Then we would debate. I came through to one of your shows in Edinburgh or something like that. Then we were talking about a podcast. We met up for a couple of burgers.
I would just, you know what, I remember, like, see when there was an auction at that gig, and there was a boy who, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you know him. He, I think he either had money invested in Wild Cabaret, was a partner in it, but he was also a DJ, but he's not really a DJ. Anyway, he had a
Jack
school,
Eye Jones.
he had
Jack
a
Eye
school
Jones.
shirt, on with hunters are writing over it, and it was like some fucking fancy vibey designer shirt, and I was just ripping him a new one because he looked like a school shirt with fucking writing on it. Jack Eye Jones, is that his name?
Aye. Well,
then they
his
ended
name's
up-
Ian Vaughan, but Jack Eye Jones is his DJ name, which means people would probably know him.
And then they
For a
ended
couple
up
of years
bidding for like One Direction ticket or something. And then for
Aye,
that,
mental.
like, there was a good bit of banter because that was usually at the table. And everybody was
Aye.
getting wound up. And then it went for there, like, we just started talking, you mean? Like, having a laugh and all that. And then it went for there because I always thought, like, see the podcast I had listened to at that point, I liked the ones where it was either two comics who were like lifelong friends, so they had like loads of stories to tell and it was good banter, or it was people who were nothing to do with comedy but had a good sense of humour. Do you mean? And I always thought it would be good at the time. Three of us, I wanted to do something with Big Gary because I was close to Gary, and I thought if we had someone else who wasn't a stand-up, who had good banter, that would add an extra element to an extra side, because then you don't get the whole fractions of comedy and, you know, people don't want to say things or don't. Do you mean? Because I've never been that way. That's never been my thing. Like, you know, you don't say this about someone or you don't do that because you don't want to upset. So I didn't want that. And then when you agreed to, or you were up for it, then it went for there. And I always remember at the start again, Big Gary, like, we'll see how it goes now. Let's stay one or two, and then it's just new we're at 100.
Just snowballed, I know. And we've had more fucking breakups and get back together tours than take that. But I think the format's good to know, just us comfortable, cracking away, you know, and I don't even think about, oh no, I've got another show today. I look forward to it.
Aye, so there.
I fucking love you, mate.
I know, mate. I know, but it's been good, man. When you think like, when you think right back to the very start when we first got together, and we didn't know what it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? And it has. I mean, the show's completely changed since then as well. Like the whole, we used to do the music, and we used to. It for me, from my point of view, it feels like it's far more. I was going to say honest. That's the wrong word, but it feels more fluid now because, like, to give people who are listening an idea, we have a bit of banter. Obviously, we talk throughout the weekend, but we have a bit of banter when we first come on here. Roughly what we're going to say, if there's anyone who wants to talk about, and then we just press record and we go. Whereas before we would do like a recorded intro and we would have sections and time it, and it did feel a bit more rigid back then. Do you mean like how many times we used to go for a tune and that was like a get out for like shut the fuck up kind of thing? Whereas now
Aye.
I do like it when we just subjects just stretch off and it does feel like a natural conversation when it flows. So even the show itself has changed over the years.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
but listen,
okay. So
thanks
anyway,
again. Whether you're a new listener, you've been listening for the start, you've rediscovered the show, you've just discovered the show. If you're gay, you're black, you're white, you're Jew, you're a lesbo,
hey,
you're non-binary. Doesn't fucking matter as long as you're up for a bit of banter.
Hey, listen. See if you look between your legs, there's nothing there. You're an action man. It's just a stump.
You're an action man.
Doesn't matter. You're welcome here.
There's always just like a safe home where you can laugh at others.
Mate, this is
instead
a
of
safe
folk laughing at you.
Place. That's a safe place to laugh. We only ask for 3 things. As long as you like pumping, explosions, and midgets, you'll always go on.
There's a place here for you in this show. And listen,
there's a seat
the only thing that we're no down with is fucking, hey, I've got a job. Pedos aren't welcome unless
they are annual subscribers.
Tier annual subscribers. And been in the jail and they're getting beat up regular, but they forget to cancel their.
And they always buy a ticket to the live show and don't attend.
And don't go. They buy all the merch, t-shirts, everything. They're just like fucking, they're givers.
Constantly phone, do you do that in a small? Excuse me? Always buying the merch required. Turning up at a live show with his wee pal that he's met off the internet. He's only 14. Can't get him, it's a nightclub. But he doesn't care. Doesn't ask for a refund. Let's just get the money.
Is this for 18s? I'm bringing my boy. He's only 12. Can you get into this? He's fine. He'll love it. No, mate, it's 18. Oh, come on. He's got a job, I know.
He's an experienced 12-year-old. He knows what he's talking about.
It's the big Highlands.
So we don't want pedos.
Don't listen.
Give your money. And also we should say at this point, big shout out to all the heroes as well that have joined the Patreon, and even the Patreon itself, mate. That has grown strength.
The banter in the Patreon's getting better as well, isn't it?
It's good, man. It's good. It's getting a wee heaven for good bants, man. But
well, here is the line in the sand. As much as we welcome every listener, right? All the Council listeners out there, you're listening right now. You're having to be laughed to yourself. I've been listening for 5 years, and cunts have got fuck all off me. We gave you over 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Over 200 hours of audio
and
for
the rest.
free. And the rest. Maybe now's the time to go. These boys need my help more than any, and they've brought laughter into my life. They've brought new experiences into my life.
Exactly.
I can't give you boys sex because lockdown. I can't give them hand jobs. Nothing. We Roberts.
You're not in your bubble. We're not in your bubble.
We're not in your bubble anymore. We can't get to your postcode. We can't do the dogging things.
Nah.
Just join up the Patreon, the lowest tier, and become a real hero.
I know.
On the 100th episode,
mate,
walk across that line in the sand and don't be a council scumbag.
Don't be a council. That's the thing to take away from this. Don't be a council scumbag any longer, because you know what? You don't have to be. Your whole life you've been scum, and now you don't have to be anymore. For it's a pound a week. What is that? What is that?
Just go. Just come. Join us. But listen, equally, I don't want to keep harping on about Patreons, but we are special. But equally, see everybody who's listened to the show, shared it, told their mate about it. That's helped grow the show to where we are. So we've got to recognise that and thank genuinely for the bottom of my intestines every fucking listener out there. Because thanks to them,
all the listeners, we thank them because it's
we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without the listeners. And we should wrap up this fucking big pat in the back bit and just get into some strict banter. Thank you, God bless. If you're a woman, get yourself a wee rub in the fanny. If you're a guy, get yourself a wee rub in the belly end.
The wee man in the boat.
For cheeky Mal, just saying thank you. If you got a nice set of boobs, get a wee squeeze and go like that. Was cheeky Mal there doing that. You know what I mean? Because that, for me, to you, Maybe like, I don't know.
For me, to you.
A wee tickle round your sphincter. That's
Oh,
cheeky,
come on.
What that? There it goes. He popped it in there. It's wet. It slid in. I'm like an old pal, just saying thank you. And I'm sure Scott feels the same. Maybe knows direct, but there you go.
I'm with you in spirit, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think anyone should be forced to play with a sphincter. I don't know why suddenly this year it feels as if everybody's been told to eat some arse. I don't know where that's came from.
What?
I don't know if that's a new
when did this
movement.
happen?
Mate, this is a new thing. Everybody's fucking eating bums, getting in about
Eating
it,
arse?
like a dog eating beetroot, right in about it, man.
Usually,
Slabbering.
those kind of tells you you're in the wrong zone. You just move on, don't you?
Well, I mean, you need a bit of personal hygiene, you know.
Aye.
Look after yourself.
I can't remember. I remember being stunned by the full bleaching of the arsehole phenomenon. And then when I seen a bleached arse, I thought, that's actually a lot fucking better looking than I imagined.
What I don't understand the I've never seen an arsehole and thought to myself,
I've seen hundreds of
that's a
arseholes,
good-
mate.
that's a good
Fucking
point.
tunes for them.
I just need to walk into any fucking lodge down the 3 Ps and go, arsehole, arsehole, arsehole.
I've never looked at an arsehole and went, I would happily tongue that to death if only it was the same colour as the buttocks. I don't know why it needs to be bleached.
Well, it's just that wee kind of brown stained ring run about it and the
I mean,
hair.
here's it.
You're kind of going,
No,
hey,
nay here.
absolute. How
Nay
do you
here.
know there's no hair? Nobody
Because
shaves
there's
their
no-
arsehole.
What do you mean, nay? Of course you should.
How can you shave your arsehole without...
With a fucking
Cams
can of
doing
links
it?
and a lighter. That's how.
Wow, of course. Just perched all the fucking
Hey, you
shit,
just-
squatting on it like a fucking
I'm not saying Scott on like kestrel. What do you dip your ass in kerosene and then fucking torch it and just run around your garden. And by the time you put it out, you'll have an absolutely beautiful designer arsehole. I'm not saying me. I'm not shaving my arsehole. I'm a man. I'm a grizzly bear. Man, I might be hairy. I'm saying your partner should.
Oh, right, okay, all right, sorry.
Cut the
aye.
leg, douse it in fucking Gillette, and then if you can't even do that, bit of fucking gaffer tape, and then just rip it right off.
Rip it off. Or fine graded sandpaper, just...
Fine graded sandpaper. That's it. That's the original bleached arsehole. They just fucking take a hug.
ripe as rain.
Give me the number 5 sandpaper there, and that's it. Couple of minutes, Sandra. I'll have you fucking good as new. There you go. I like mahogany. On your way.
On for a talc, baby. What is it? Johnson's baby. Right in
I
there.
remember my granny
slap
used
the
to.
cheek,
My
you're good
mum
to
used
go.
to always say that about my gran, that not that she'd a bleached arsehole, that she used to put hundreds of talcum powder on us, and then when she'd pick us up as away and go like that, for fucking puff out your nappy, just talcum powder everywhere, man. Just Wayne's going through like a fucking smoke bomb, like you're in the middle of chapel or something, just fucking puffed everywhere.
Here's the thing. What's the point of fucking... What is it? What is it for, talcum powder? What does it do?
It's to dry you out and soften your skin, isn't it? It's like, you know, black people. That's not a
Use
good place to
coconut
pause.
oil.
No, like they moisturize because
Uh-huh.
they get ashy skin.
Yep.
I think it's like that. I think people just talc to dry you out and soften. I mean, it used to be a thing like when I was young, like guys would talc their balls, didn't they? Just fucking rattle it down the jockstrap.
I remember it being young, like getting talc on you and all that kind of thing. But it's not something...
Remember, you used to get talc on you and your uncle would wrestle you, that,
Aye.
remember that?
You're like, I'm a ghost, Run about
Aye.
in the clothes on, just talked up.
Oh, and he's like, oh, no, I've got a wee stork in here. I don't worry, it just means you're excited. Don't worry about that. Come here and give me that here. Got a bit of talc on it.
I'll pick you up with that. Play you like a
Fucking hell,
bagpipe, you wee
man.
dick.
Talcum powder's died out, man. Very much
Well-
the same way that Old Spice has as well.
The last time I used talcum powder, and in actual fact, bought talcum... No, I tell a lie. I'm sure I've bought talcum powder for my kids. But before that, as a
For
grown
your
man...
kids. Oh, it's
Well,
the babies.
obviously when they were weighing babies and that, but as a grown man, the last time I bought talcum powder was, I don't know if you remember, I tell you, we used to frequent the car park in the Sky in Paisley.
Uh-huh.
We used to go up there for a smoke after, the nightclubs and that had finished. And
Mhm.
me and my mate, Scott, thought it would be funny if we
No.
pretended to be zombies. So we,
Alright.
we whited out our faces with talc, put jam in the side of our face,
Right.
and went up onto motors because everybody was up there mad with it, goofing out. We
Dogging.
thought we gave him a fright. We done it to this guy and he got out and fucking was going to rip our heads off.
Good.
It's happened to be like a nut job.
Good.
Chasing us about. And we're dressed up like zombies.
He's like,
Running
my wife died
down
in
the
a zombie
grass verges.
attack. You
Aye.
bastard.
my Wayne's a zombie. How dare you?
I thought you were going to say you fucking snorted lines of talc.
I've actually seen some do that.
Mate.
Talc, asket powder. My wee mate done an asket powder. And he was in tears.
I must have told you
Tears of laughter.
time my mate snorted vinegar in a chippy.
No.
Mate. So
Why?
I had two pals at school, and I'll not say the names because
They know who they are.
I know. But my flatmate and one of my best mates, Davy Robertson, my other mate for school, Craig. They never really got on. I don't know why. I don't know if it's that kind of you're young and it's that competitive. Like, no, he's my pal, no, he's your pal. I don't know, right?
For your love. They're fighting for your love.
They just disagreed with each other, right? I think they both clashed intellectually on a different plane. You know, I was doing here going like, I don't understand what words you were saying. They're like, no, what you have to understand is like, you know, the libertarian movement. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So, anyway, I think Davey never had money. We had a chippy in Paisley at the chippy you can sit in near the university. I don't know why I'm doing that. You can sit in it.
You're pointing at it.
And then I think Craig said to him, I'll pay for your chippy if you snort vinegar. So he had to fill the palm of his hand with vinegar.
There's always the money guy. There's always a payoff.
That's what I mean.
If you do
that's
this.
what I mean. You know, he had money and we didn't. You know, and he's like, see if you snort that vinegar, I'll pay for your dinner. And I was like, I'll fucking snort the vinegar. So Davey done it, man. Like filled that wee puddle his hand with vinegar and then malt vinegar as well and snorted it and made it collapse on the floor, man. He's like,
even just smelling it gives you the.
He was fucking like he's spasming on the floor, man, in the chippy. And I'm just sitting there eating my dinner like that. Nothing will stop me eating this fish supper. No way.
Mate, can I break this amazing story and run to my door? I've got a door.
Is that you in the ring?
A few moments later.
You missed it?
I chased him down the road bit.
Did he stop?
No, he kept on. He was listening to stereo and kept driving. He seen me. I'll be having a word with him when I see him again.
What a wanker. Right, let's come back into that.
Sorry, man. Let's come back. Oh, my goodness.
Cheeky Mal there, racing off top speed to try and catch a delivery, but the delivery man was gone.
I feel as if I broke the chi there, man, you know, but,
more of that news. Listen, that brings me on to something now. What happened? Do you remember in the old days when Scottish newsreaders would talk with that kind of voice live here outside the Crown Court in Auchenshiggle? The case continues.
That's right.
Why does nobody talk like news anymore?
Because
what happened to that accent? Because that isn't a real accent.
Mrs.
McGregor plunged the knife straight into the chest of her husband of 15 years, shouting, "Plunge McNugget, die, you fucking cunt!" As the court heard the case continues.
They did. That's a valid point.
And now the news reporters,
even the women spoke like that on a television.
Aye. We are here with farmer Graham Campbell, who, due to foot and mouth, has had to put down 65,000 of his cattle, including his wife. When questioned over the missing partner, he said, and I quote, "My wife's been a cow longer than I can remember, so I put the bitch out of her misery." The case continues.
I'm here, I'm your female anchor woman, and you've no idea how many cocks I've sucked to keep this position. I may be aging, they're keeping me on as the older fox, but I still know I can work a dick or two. I know how to work the shaft, I know how to work it.
What's happened? Again, you've hijacked a perfectly good question and you've turned it round into that old fucking dominatrix bird that you fancy that reads the weather. That's where your mind's gone. That's where your mind's gone.
Hot news birds.
I can't watch.
Are the best.
That's a different breed, mate. I can't watch the Scottish one because there's a lassie who presents the Scottish news, who a friend of mine knows her from the world of entertainment and told me some stories about her and her husband, and now I can't watch it because I just think about those stories.
Well,
I'll tell you off air.
I'll tell you
off air. I'll tell the heroes. I'll tell the heroes.
On the accent side of things.
Yep.
I wanted to actually talk about it because that's what I was thinking today.
Welcome to the news.
You're right, but I think what I think is good about it is I think a lot of people now are more comfortable just talking the way they talk. You know, see all that phony West End accents and fucking parts of Edinburgh, and even no matter where you go, there's always a wee bit where everybody gets a telephone voice on.
Yep.
And I think it's different if you're talking to somebody foreign or somebody who doesn't have a grasp of your language,
Yep.
you need to slow down and talk clearer. But I think people should
How much are the tomatoes?
This fucking cunt doesn't know what I'm talking about.
That's you in
And then
Coatbridge.
that's my father, man. He thinks if he slows down, he can talk the language, no matter where in the world he finds himself. When I was a boy, father, they don't know English.
I know.
Okay, I'll try again. How much for the? He doesn't know what you're talking about. Well, it's not my fucking fault. We didn't speak English. That
Mate,
kind of
see-
madness. It's their
See
fault.
when I was growing up, right? My mum was married to a stepdad when I was growing up, right? And he was a toilet. He was an absolute fucking toilet of a human, right? A human.
Is that
toilet.
the guy who was African American quarterback for the New York Dallas Dixies?
No. African. No,
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway.
I was just trying to inject some humour into.
All right, no.
proceedings.
But see, you talk about your dad there. That's the. I can vividly remember the time when I knew that he was a complete arsehole, and it was in Turkey on holiday. The first time we went to Turkey, and I remember like because you're young, you're like a young teenager, so you don't want to be on holiday with your parents, right? Because
Aye,
it's
you
not
don't want to
cool.
be anywhere near them.
Right, but here with your pals fucking making
Snot and vinegar.
vodka jellies, man. I mean, poking bums, living life.
And we're walking down, and he started haggling with this guy because like you have to haggle. Everyone's going to haggle. I'm like, nah, just how much? There you go. Move on. So he's talking to this guy like, how much is the pair of shoes? No, sorry. How much? And I remember just standing and looking at him going, what a fucking dick
You're a
this
fud.
cunt is.
Aye.
Like, I remember vividly in my
Do you
head
have
judging my mother.
size,
Aye.
a size 9. 9.
Do you speak English? Yes,
We
mate,
fucking
I do
looky
speak
guys
English.
like that. Me no have the Albert's Ranger stop. Wah, 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 wah. Fucking
That's-
getting.
When in holiday,
You just go, Glasgow Rangers, Glasgow Rangers, Glasgow Celtic, Glasgow Celtic. You're like, fuck off.
I know.
you used to go get Rolex. Like, what?
I mean, I
Rolex.
tell you as well, my bro, we were in Ibiza and he'd just go to fucking the new Ranger strip. And my bro was one of the nuggets that would walk about with a fucking strip on. I know there's probably a lot of you listeners out there that walk about wherever you go on holiday with a football strip on. I've never signed up to that. I think it's fucking embarrassing. Anyway,
I think it's a Glasgow thing.
no, it's just a fucking arsehole thing. If you're English, I don't care where you're from or what team you support, you don't go to a foreign company. You don't go to a
You
foreign
don't go
country
to a
kicking about with a
foreign
fucking tap on and all that. Like, "It's my fucking
But
team."
you've got to represent, mate. You've got to represent.
Represent what? Represent your fucking small-minded mentality.
Represent the loyal, mate. Lodge 451. Here we go.
Just got a fucking green t-shirt with Larson in the back, man. What?
I've got Chucky Allah tattooed across the gut, man. Our day will come. To
I've got
eliminate-
IRA in my belly, and so when I'm pumping cunts, I'm getting fucked left, right, and centre. Play all sorts.
Why is it
Get
you
out
only?
your mouth, you whore.
Why is it you only shag English, bird Seamus? Because I'm going to do the job of the IRA, never. I'm going to pump the English.
Your father was in the military, was he? Get fucking out of here.
I don't know how. I don't even know where you would find a tattooist that would tattoo your dick. And why you would want to do that?
Listen, I think if you're a tattooist, which is quite a freaky job, you're up for all sorts of freaky because you grew up in freaky. You know, with people, can you tattoo my tit? There's a wee kink start it straight away. Oh yes, I've got a titty tattoo.
Is
Can you
is that
tattoo my arse
is that
cheek? Oh, your
kinky though?
belter, inner thigh. Oh, we're getting close. Fanny lip. Of course, I
You
will.
can't
then.
get you don't want to tattoo your fanny
Aye.
lips.
I used to date a lassie with a fanny tattooed.
No, her lips.
Said Enter the Ninja. Enter
What?
the Dragon. Enter the Dragon.
Shut the fuck up. Not on her fanny. Yeah,
Right
the
on a
skin's
fucking
too
wee man in the
thin.
boat. It was a picture of Bruce Lee.
Fuck.
And then flick it.
It's a bullseye, man. Surely, even like the skin on your knob getting tattooed would be a bloody mess.
Yeah. Especially
I'm
the jail
honestly
ones
glad-
yourself with just a needle on the biro. Frank.
And it's
UVF.
It's somewhere like we prison queen that tell me, if you want your dick tattooed, come on, talk to me. You're fucking straight shit, man. Like, where's you
Heating a wee needle or a fucking candle with a bit biro bust open and all that. So what is it you want? UVF
What is it?
or
What is it
Ian?
you're what is it you're in for? Really? Right, is it UDA or UVF? What is it I'm doing? It's the UDA, unbelievable. Unfair Defence Association.
Doesn't matter what one you want. Doesn't matter to me. Both a tenner.
Listen, I don't pick fights, and I'm just here to tattoos. Know what I mean? Filth and bobies and all that. So what
It
it is,
does
take
help
all your
if you're fully erect. It takes to better.
now, obviously, what normally a tattooist would do would put some cream on that, but I've not got any fingers on the gel. So if you just pop that in me for 10 minutes, I'll slosh it about a wee bit,
I'll
and then we'll
clean
get
it.
started.
I'll get it cleaned.
That's how you fucking decontaminate stuff. But then a tart smooth, mate, get it sloshed in.
And there's a big rapist there wanting fucking E and UDF and he's belling. He's like, this isn't gay. This is because I want tattoos in my end of my fucking knob. So it's cunts know where I stand.
Now I'm
Politically.
now I'm thinking back to Gary's story where people would hold out a newspaper and get sucked off in the jail so they couldn't fucking
Or they
see
put the
it.
page 3 on their back while they get bummed. Fucking hell, man. That is real, isn't it?
Mate, needs must, mate. Needs must.
Also, they boys know how to make a good pot noodle with the steam in it. You know,
Oh, aye, man, I'm not fucking about, man.
plastic band.
But I wouldn't even know where to start to go to a tattooist and say, listen, this is what
Oh,
I'm
you've
looking
been
for.
to a tattooist?
Lots, plenty, but I'd never consider getting my bobby done. And if there was a tattooist that tattooed bobies, I don't think I'd go there because I'd feel like that's a different thing altogether. I'm desperate to get me a desperate to get me a tattoo.
Good, I think you were going to say get Bobby tattooed.
I just want the
Gibbo,
just a wee
UDF.
dot, just a wee dot on it, please. That's all I want.
Can you
I'd
just
want
put,
one of
see
those-
just next to your lips, can you put 2 eyes? So
I'd
it
want,
looks like a wee frightened snake.
you know, Enter the Dragon when he does the flex and then it like turns out into the big one. I'd want that. Like when you see it where it's wee, it's just like going, what the fuck's that? Like a smudge. And then when it grows to a big oak tree, oh Jesus Christ, that's the Last Supper, man. That's beautiful. Jesus and his 12 disciples are doing his belly. That's fucking cracking.
I'd have it like just a word along the shaft. So it's like when you get a boner, it maybe stretched out into like a bigger word. You know, like fucking say something like whatever the first and last letter was, it made up a word, but then when you get a boner, it became a different word, but a longer word.
I mean, you're getting technical now, like an anagram.
I don't know.
Do you mean like, so it says IRA, and then when it gets figures the
Irish Republican Army. The very one. I'll be here all day. That'll be 20 quid for that.
That's 2 seconds. You're going to have to come back. His horns feel shaking. The army's a bit ski with. I've been doing it for half an hour, man.
But I'll clean it every letter.
No, I wouldn't want to go to a tattooist. But the last time I went to the tattooist, I when I was getting the Duke done and that bit of my arm there was a lassie in who was getting like is that a sternum? Is that what it's called? Like underneath her, like lifting her chest up, like underneath there, like getting this mad design thing, and it looked so painful, man. It looked so painful. It was unreal. It was red raw, and I was like, fucking hell. I've never been
a week or something that stays there, then it just goes to normal.
No, it's done. It's not
You see
safe.
folk going out with the cling film with their tattoos and
You
all that.
need to keep it cling filmed. You need to keep it cling filmed for maybe like 2 days, 3 days. It's I've always gone in like said to them, like it's pain, it's sore, but it's not unbearable. And it's almost as if they know exactly how much pain you can take, because just when you feel as if it's getting too much,
every day, innit?
aye, well they stop as well. Like it's not continuous, so they do and then stop. But I always say to them, like, listen, you don't need to talk to me. I'm going to sit here. I might scream. I might say, I usually go, oh yeah, fucking bastard. I usually do that quite a lot, right?
Well, a wee polite one.
I go,
you're
oh
dirty.
yeah, fuck, oh yeah, do a lot of that, right? Ta-ta. And I go, oh yeah, fuck, oh, hello. And then I laugh a lot, right? Last time when she was doing the dog,
Imagine you getting mugged up an alley.
she was doing the dog,
Oh,
and it was,
yeah.
there's a wee bits. I was like, oh, cha-cha. And she went, oh, that's a new one. I went, yeah, dirty. Oh, hey, that's a good one. So I did a lot of that, and she was telling me, like, she went, a lot of guys come in, and because the tattooist I went to in Edinburgh, it's all women. She's like, a lot of these guys come in and think because it's 4 women that are the tattooists, it's all got to be like,
Got to
all
be
right,
macho.
ladies. She's like, as if they can take a tattoo, we're all going to sleep with them or something. I went, listen, men are very simple creatures, madam, so don't judge us all like that.
You were like, and is that lambs?
So, no, but I says, I went, listen.
Oh, floaties.
I says, I'm going to be making as much noise as I want. She went, don't worry about it. You can shout and scream if you like. She says that she had one guy who was doing like his ribs, and essentially she went, look, I know that's going to be painful, so if you need me to stop it, he's like, I'll be fine, and never said anything, and the cunt passed out with the pain.
I love that. I see when he
Lost
passed out,
that
I'd
dick.
tick him in the face when he's doing
A tattoo.
just for being an absolute knob.
Right, passed out with the pain. So when she started me, I was like, okay. She went, all right. I went, that's fine. And then 5 minutes, I was like, yeah, bastard. But again, it's like as soon as it's done, it's the pain's gone, and it is like a not an addiction, but it is a you want to get more of them. I think the first time when I got a tattoo when I was young, if it was unbearable, I'd never get any more. But because it's and because I like them, it's an art
Do you
form
feel
that
like
has.
the pain makes it maybe a reward when you get it? It's like the payoff. You need to go through the pain to get
the thing is, people say pain. It's a very different. It's a completely different pain than what you think it is. It's a heat. It's a heat pain. So you assume in your head it's going to be like knife, like cutting you or stabbing you. It's not that. It's a warmth. There's a heat to it. So it's not the pain. That's the most weird. That's the weirdest thing about it, because you go in thinking, fucking hell, here we go. And she's like, don't tense up. So you need to try and relax, which is difficult. And then when it actually does start, you're so thrown by it because it's not the type of pain you think it's going to be. Do you mean? I remember, like, see when you're young, if you hurt yourself or you done something and you had to go to the hospital, and they'd be like, how sore is it going to be? And they'd be like, well, it's like a really bad bee sting. And you're like, what? Either this doctor's never been stung by a bee in his life, or he's getting stung by super bees, man. So everybody tries to give you an example of pain threshold that you can compare it against. Do you know what I mean?
So only folk with the tattoos will realise the pain of a tattoo.
And it isn't really that so. And also, I'm a fat guy, so I'm all right. I'm getting in big blubbery bits. I'm not getting in pure bony
You're
bits.
just like that. Yeah, talking about tattoos, that's a good place for me to jump in. Now, I've just got him doing as Davy Hero, but we all know him as
What?
Davy Byrne.
Davy Byrne.
And Davy's messaged me for a wee shout out, which I said I would, because he's Davy's helped us out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just said he wants a shout out on episode 100 because it's his 40th birthday, November the 20th, and he can't do fuck all to celebrate it. Or can he? He says, "No party, or should I fuck wee Nicola off and have an illegal street rave?"
No.
Be sensible. Be home.
Sensible,
be drunk.
Man. Be sensible.
He's a hashtag hero. Wait a minute. He's a hashtag hero. Sorry. A Patreon tattoo wearer. So he's got a hashtag tattoo.
He does.
Remember that at the live show he showed everybody?
Yep.
He's also the reigning quiz champion 3 times running. He's even put Stephen Harry Wilson
in his place.
Who he was for a long, long time the ultimate hashtag hero. The Davies knocked him off his perch. So there's a wee bit of mutual respect, and it's almost like a Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker battle between them two.
It is. But who would be Darth Vader and who would be Luke Skywalker?
We need to investigate that one, man. New Year said that's got me thinking. So he's an ultimate hero. So happy birthday, Davey, 40-year-old, still young son. All the best now. Take care.
Happy birthday, mate. And thank you for supporting the show as much as you've done. While we're on that,
great.
I've also got another shout out and a little. We done this before. I'm not sure if we did it on a hero episode or a council episode, but we had said to any hashtag heroes that listen, and this continues on in the future. This year's been difficult for all of us. It's been tough, especially for people who are self-employed, like me and Cheeky Mal, or people who run their own business. And we have mentioned this before on the show. If you are a hashtag hero and you run your own business, or you have a small business and you want us to give a shout out to the millions who listen across the globe, get in touch with us on the Patreon page, drop us a wee message and let us know what you'd like to say. And we have had another hero get in touch with Mark Andrew from Studio 83 Barber Shop in Union Street in Glasgow has got in touch. He is a hashtag hero and he's wanting us to give us a wee shout out. Now, Studio 83, Union Street in Glasgow, one of the finest barber shops in the land. And normally 22 quid for a haircut. But for hashtag heroes and even console listeners, if you go into Studio 83 Barber Shop, Union Street in Glasgow, and say that you are a hashtag hero, you'll get £5 off your haircut. So
How
go in
fucking
there.
good's that, man?
Brilliant, man. Great. Do you know what? And here's the thing. Some people might be listening going, it's a bit daft, but it's the whole point of this is people who are self-employed small businesses, it is a horrible year. They're struggling. And if we can do something to help promote it, to help push the business, we will do that for the hashtag heroes. So if you're ever in Glasgow or you need a haircut or you're thinking about it, keep Studio 83 Barbershop, Union Street in Glasgow in the front of your mind. Head in there, let them know you're a hashtag hero, and you'll get a £5 off your haircut. You're saving some money, and you're helping a small business, you're helping a hero, and you're helping the show. Now, there's no sponsorship. You know, we're not taking any money for this.
Well, I will be up there visiting because I did hear that the big man would be like messing about with my locks.
I was going to say, maybe you should wait a couple of weeks till it's a right mess, and then go in there and get your money's worth. You know,
Well, listen to that, man. I've got a bit of a lockdown haircut.
your haircut, your hair's starting to look a bit like Tory backbencher or
No,
like Middle England landowner.
it's the guy out of Seinfeld. You know, the guy that just walks in the door. What's his name?
Back off, Ken. What is
The big fucking Jewish guy
Kramer.
with the cardigans.
Kramer versus Kramer. What a film.
I've
man.
also got another thing, a wee message for a previous episode, which was quite funny. We ripped into a guy for, there was some kind of engagement part or something. I'll just read the message because I
Yeah.
can't remember the full fucking part, right? And this is for Ryan McGowan, right? Who's got in touch with us on Insta, and he went, "Evening, gents." So it was obviously night time. He messaged us, and he's just went, "Long time listener, first time caller from the last Patreon episode. I like it. He's a Patreon now as well, so I'm liking Ryan." He's went, "From the last Patreon episode, you gave my two mates a shout out to Darren Gilmore for getting engaged to Michael Dorian." Oh, no, sorry. For Darren Gilmore for getting engaged.
This is what happens when you need to
Aye.
read stuff.
And Michael Dorian, who was a closet homosexual. He was dying to realise his feelings for Darren. Unfortunately, Michael must have took it to heart after you've given him a right slagging off, and for all us carrying it on, because now the big fella has caved in and at long last proposed to his missus on Saturday on the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. So shout out to you guys for making it happen. And the real question is, double hashtag wedding/engagement party on the cards when COVID shite is over. Keep up the good work, boys, and cheers for getting us all through this. And remember to wash your hands and your assholes.
Yes.
Brilliant. So the boy who put the request in, to recap, we slated him for being a closet homosexual who loved the other guy. Is that right?
A hero got in touch with us to give a shout out to his mate who was a hero, who hadn't had a shout out yet, and who just got engaged to his bird. So we did the shout out and then made it as if the guy who got in touch with us is doing it because he's actually secretly in love with him and he fancies the guy and he's wanting to break it up. And then
we went off on a right riff with that, didn't we?
Aye, and his mates kept that going, saying he's a closet homosexual.
Beautiful. But
And
you know
it's,
what as well? What I'm thinking as well is it's maybe like a fucking gay nest up there, you know? And it's just hunters or
Nothing
lesers
wrong with
and
it.
homos
Nothing
all
wrong with
like
that.
smooching, moving about naked,
Nothing
like
wrong with it. Nothing wrong
getting
with
into
it.
each
Hey,
other, tongue and all
you know,
sorts.
you're all
And
welcome.
maybe
here.
Ryan McGowan is the ringleader. And he's just like a big
Aye.
pimp daddy who's pumping him off. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or a woman. And he's now just pimping them all out, saying, time for you to get married, have your own wains, and move on to pastures new.
So you think
So you get
Ryan's
young
running
things
some
in.
kind of sex cult?
A sex cult
in,
or a pimp den.
in order to keep his, holes, if you like, because he doesn't see them as people. He just sees them as a whole, a bleached
He needs to keep
arsehole.
them tight and wet. He needs
That's
to keep
it.
them.
To put his dick in. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Man, woman, beast. He
Or
doesn't
beast.
care.
No,
Ryan just wants to have something warm and wet that he can put his dick in, and he's worried that if he doesn't bring them together in the cult, they'll move off.
Aye,
So he's
exactly.
made sure that all his pals are engaged to different birds,
Getting
keep them
married.
in the cult, so he can just go around under the cover of darkness, popping arseholes, no caring where
Aye.
he goes.
And also, when people are happy, they bring more friends into the fucking pack.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's a wee bit of Ryan McGowan in every one of us. We all like
Exactly.
tight and wet. So Ryan, thanks for bringing that to our attention. All the best with the cult. don't be doing anything daft. Don't be doing like a mass killing or anything like that.
No, just
Just
look
enjoy
after each other.
yourself.
Be nice.
Aye,
Be nice to each other.
yourselves.
And wish everybody all the best in their engagement. I think if there are couples out there getting engaged during lockdown, good. Well, I think there's a strong future for you. If you can last through this year of hell, then these are meant to be. So congratulations to
Aye, definitely.
all the heroes. And maybe this is a thing. Maybe if there's any heroes out there, or maybe if there's any heroines out there, if there's any heroines out there who want their men to step up and propose, get in touch with us. Give me their name, the name of their best pal, and we will do a tirade calling them a closet homosexual, and then they'll propose to you within a matter of days.
What I'd also like to ask for any heroine listeners out there, and this extends to any female, not just even real heroes. I'm talking about even council females.
Right.
If they want to write in and tell us their man's wee kinks, we will expose them live on air all around the
world. people need. That's an interesting thing you raise. People shouldn't be ashamed of their kinks.
No, that's what I'm saying. You should share them.
You should be proud of it.
And there's no better platform than to share them. I would thoroughly enjoy reading folks' wee daft kinks. You know, like, he just likes to sit and put the Heelys foot up his arsehole while he's having a line. Or something like that. I don't know.
How would you put the Heely foot up his arsehole?
I had a mate that did that. Well, he had a joke
heel of his foot up his arse.
He used to crack one off. He had to sit on his
on his
foot with the Heely's foot up his arse.
Pressed against his arsehole.
Fucking ham bone.
I don't even think I've got the flexibility to get the heel up my arsehole.
Well, you know, listen, it's maybe a young man's game, Scott. I don't know.
Maybe a young, slender, athletic man's game.
Yes.
You just want to hear all the weird stuff that people got up to, didn't you? So you can turn around
the wife and go, look, it's no weird. Other people do it.
You think I'm bad? Look at these freaks.
Every time he comes, he puts my whole foot inside his mouth and shouts, Wakanda! What's that all about?
I think it's funny. It's not that I participate in them. I can put my mind at rest knowing that there isn't a normal. You know,
maybe this could be a new segment of the show, Miles Agony Uncles, where you write in with your relationship, sexual problems, and Uncle Mal put some right for you.
Well, I think as a team we could work on that. You know,
I mean, I think
we see two sides to every story. You know.
Yeah, I think you would obviously, scar them mentally, and then I could step in and give a reasonable response answer.
Put the Nutella on them and just send them off happy. Listen, what I wanted to talk about, right? I don't even know if it's going to be funny, right? It came out in my head today when I was driving up the road. And it was a presenter. It was a female presenter actually, and she wasn't giving the talk like that. The news, she was talking like that, and it was one of the high voices, and it got me thinking: is that no fucking weird? No, I know I've got female friends.
High pitched voice.
I've got female friends that talk like that, really high pitched, and everyone's talking to you like fucking Mickey Mouse. What's more bizarre? I've got mates, guy mates.
Yep.
You all right, man? What you been up to? And I just think. Folk that talk like that. It's a fucking mad voice. And imagine been raging with some cunt. Hey, I'll fucking knock you out, you wee prick. There's nothing's getting. You're angry. You bought something at the shop. I bought this fucking. It's broke. I paid £100 for it. I want it fucking fixed. There's nothing you can do. There's no authority there. You need to send your wife in, a pal in.
Your wife.
I'm raging. You better. I'm raging. I'm gonna sit in the motor, and you better give me and fucking give him a shout net. I'll fucking blow my top and there'll be glasses smashing everywhere.
Listen, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go get my wife. Then the wife goes in.
Right, we want you cunts. We want you cunts to take the fuck out my man. Huh?
I don't know. See when they're talking to you and it's a guy. They're going, I tell you, man, I was with wee bird that night. I was fucking shagging her always. I'm saying to myself, you can't. No, you're gay. That is
why.
Right.
Why is that the conversation? I was shy.
No, I could be telling me in, and I'm just thinking, you're too feminine.
Right? Do you need a cuddle? Is that what this is? Is that what this is?
No, I'm just genuinely saying that gave me a chuckle today.
So do you just automatically assume that they're gay if they've got a high pitched voice?
Or non-binary.
No, they don't pick a side.
They're that placid. They don't really want to pick any fucking teammate to play.
The thing is, Mel, I didn't even think I was gay, and then before I know it, 6 of the boys were on top of me. I don't know what's happening. maybe I'm not. I don't know.
I finished a game of fives. And ended up, there was tennies in the shower, And quite quickly, we found out who didn't want to play extra time because they just went and get dried off. So the rest is just, had a laugh, banter, none gay.
They greased me up and they passed me down that shower floor like I was a fucking hockey puck. Honest to God, man.
I put my towel in my bags. I drove back up to the wife in Wayne's, and you know what? For the first time in my life, I felt like a real winner.
I felt like a real man. Because I tell you what. And I says to her, there's no way you can take a cock that size in your arse. I took the full thing, so I'm a man, and I'm a winner.
I did. I drove right up the road and I said to her, see all the times I've asked you for anal sex? You've always said no. I had a guy who was 8 inches and he slid up his, and I enjoyed that. I took it with a smile on my face. Nothing but more than every time I ask, I'll get you wine, let you watch the box sets or whatever it is you want to watch. Then when we go to bed and I'm at my time, you just tell me, no, you're tired. Well, listen, I know what it's like to have a big cock up my ass. I don't have a problem with it anymore. And just in case you want to know, I'm no angry, I'm happy.
I never made a sound. Quiet
I
as a
shout
mouse.
it in ecstasy. I shout it, Brian, that's great. Keep it up, pal. See that goal he scored earlier? It was a cracker, but nothing as good as this big cock of yours up, man. You fucking sphincter.
Unlike me, Brian. You keep it a bit tighter at the back, son. A bit tighter at the back. Oh.
Now, pick up that wet towel and put it in my bag because I'm taking it up as a souvenir to smell you, Brian. When I'm lying with my wife and she's not wanting me, but I'll take that. I'll take her vag and I'll put your towel on my face and smell you, Brian, while I'm
like a comfort blanket.
Naughty with her. But so that voice just makes me laugh because that's the kind of shit I think about. How do they deal with real life?
Are you so glad that you were born in the west of Scotland?
Because they can't talk like that, don't they?
Nobody talks like here. Nobody talks like in the west. See, like when I first came through to Edinburgh, see the very first time I was in Edinburgh, when I lived, I moved here, I walked down Leith Walk, I was taking the tour manager for a walk, and I heard a gadget outside a shop. Big boy, right? Quite well built. You know, if he was for Glasgow, you'd maybe go, right, let's just keep a wee eye here. And he was on the phone, shouting at somebody on the phone, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I tell you, I'm going to come here, mate. I'm going to come here, and I tell her I'm going to pack all my bags, and I'll not be seen again, eh? I says I'm not put up with this. I'm not put up with this shit. I'm going, who is this? Surely the other person that said that phone's just pissing himself with laughter. There's no
authority. If he's seen you laughing, he's the kind of guy to rip your head off, kind of thing.
No, he's a tasty
boy.
You laughing at, eh? I'm like, shut up, cunt. And then he'd be like, oh.
No,
it's just that accent.
I might talk funny, but I'll fucking slash you, eh?
I'm going to take you back and cut fuck at you, eh? Aye. Oh, no, he's from Glasgow.
But then they listen to you talking, eh? And they're like, this cunt's a fucking weed. You think he's a hard man? I'll fucking slash him.
You're mate, I've got the fucking back now, the 3-tune Ayrshire Lodges, you fucking cunt.
Here you pud, and I'll fucking slash you. I'll put my fucking 3 ounce of brown up your ass and I'll tell you to come back in a week when I'm selling it, eh?
Where is it your fate, man, eh? Where do you feel like? Where is it your feel like? Are you there for here, like?
I had a different experience in Edinburgh. When I used to gig through the early 90s, Edinburgh was always right bang into... I always felt Edinburgh was more into their tunes than the West Coast, East Coast. Edinburgh in particular, really into their music, their tunes, their raving.
Yeah.
And heavy drug taking, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, I've met some bad boys there. And, you know, let's overlook the accent for a minute, yeah?
Yeah.
I just felt Edinburgh were more into kidnapping and killing you, whereas Glasgow you'd get a kicking. That's the only way I can weigh it up. You know, you get a straight up doon in a tune, but Edinburgh is it's a wee bit more thoughtful and evil.
That may have been the case then, but I think the city of Edinburgh has very much changed now, and it is.
It's an influx of fucking.
It's a hemp
hipsters now
and avocado and toast city of beige.
But I'm sure just out the tune, the songs are cunts like, hey, I'm just going to get and rob these cunts, eh?
Couple of gadgets. The only good thing about no a good thing, but when you look at it, because Edinburgh Council, let's not get into all politics shit, but Edinburgh Council is run by the Tories, so. The only thing they've done is went, see if you're a junkie, Ken Fit, like, but you're getting fucking papped. So they've just driven everybody out of Edinburgh, and now it's all just money. I mean, the rent prices. The rent prices in this city, Mal. They'd fucking water a glass eye. So they would. Disgraceful.
It's because it's money, but and they just put it up.
Just too much money. Just this city can't cope, man. Do you know what I mean? And if it feels like it's a house of cards, to mention a show that you've been watching, and we'll talk about that in a second. So
Yeah,
if
let's lighten
something
up, Scott. It's 100. Let's not get too dark and talk
Exactly.
politics. And
House
that,
of Cards. 1, are you enjoying it? 2, have you bought a rowing machine? And 3, talk to me.
Well, you know what?
How good is it?
I did sidestep this until you went House Cards, and I went, yes. By fucking the end of episode 1, me and the missus were hooked, and we're
Mate,
new.
Did you know just turn
halfway
to the
through-
missus after the first episode and go, this is it. This is our show now.
Well, let me tell you this. Him breaking the fourth wall and talking to us, it annoyed me at the start.
Oh,
I went,
right.
nah, I can't do this. By the second episode, I was in, man. It was
because
reeling me in.
it feels as if you're getting a wee bit extra that nobody else is getting.
Yep. But, so, a lassie who I knew actually messaged me and went, you should check out the original British
I know.
House of Cards. That's even fucking better. And I, again, remember seeing that on the TV and going, but then there's, I don't, obviously I've not watched the British one, right? But I imagine it's kind of British, whereas this American one is full on. And, you know, the this guy who's new and where I'm watching it, vice president, and I assume he's going to be president or whatever, he's now a fucking murdering maniac.
Oh,
And there was a couple of bits where I watched it, genuinely just sitting, chilling out, watching it. You know, you're binging a couple of episodes, and then they go, "Holy fuck!"
I know. And mate, here's the thing as well. You have got so much more to go. Like, where are you in the story?
I guess I'm halfway through series 2, where he's.
Oh yeah, through series 2, right? Okay.
No, sorry, series 1. I'm halfway
Right.
through. No, sorry, I'm halfway through series 2, where he's got in that hot army chick as his whip.
Right.
He's trying to rally up some kind of thing to get her. It's all these wee fucking plans that's going on. I think I understand what's going on, and I half day and I half don't.
It's
And
mad.
then you
Innit?
just see him fucking playing everybody like a fiddle.
Oh, it's
And
so
the
good.
dynamics, the dynamics of him and his wife, it's creepy,
Aye.
evil. They're supporting each other. They're using each other. There obviously is a love there, but there's no emotion. There's no kissing. There's no making love. They're happy for each other to have their affairs as long as it's good for them as a couple to progress. It's dark, man. It's
It is.
dark.
Do you know what? The thing as well is, like, it's one of those things that when you watch it, people will be like, "Oh my god, that's fucking madness," and the reality, that's probably closer
How politics goes.
to
isn't it?
what politics is. See, if you mix House of Cards with the West Wing, that is probably what politics is like in the modern political spectrum. That is what it's like, where it is cut up. Because I've started rewatching West Wing, right, and it's angering me because I'm looking at it going, I know that the guy who wrote that, Aaron Sorkin, had members of the Senate and ex-members of the Bush campaign explaining to him how the inner workings of the West Wing went on so that he could make it as real as possible. And it's all things like, for example, you're the senator of fucking Texas, right? And I tell you, I need you to do this, this, and this. The response is, right, what am I getting?
Aye.
And the thing should be, you're not getting anything because it's your job. So you're elected to do your job. No, what am I getting? I want $1 million in my pocket, and it's all. And I'm going, that is exactly what it is. It's all.
I'll do this for you if you can
personal
fund
gain.
this for me. And aye.
And then when you look at House of Cards, there's cunts getting fucking stabbed. There's people shagging. It's all spinning lies, and mate, it is spectacular. I remember watching it, going, "This is incredible." Him and the writing between him and the wife is so good because there are times when you think Frank is the most evil man that's ever lived, and then there's times when you feel sorry for Claire, and then it spins it and you go, she's a fucking psycho twisted bitch. Frank needs to get away from her. So it's constantly putting the two of them up and down.
I tell you what I've been
fucking
thinking
great.
recently, right? So where I'm watching it, he's just started dealing with the Chinese delegate. That's where
Right.
I'm kind of at the now, right? And you're getting seeing him with the bag early, he'd having like a fucking freeway and all that. Quite like that. Great wee opener. Certainly got my attention.
I knew you'd
Right.
like it. I know there's big words in it, and there's
she's
stuff
doing the
to
other guy's
understand,
pushing
but
the head doing all
aye. But there's
ripping
enough.
the bag off.
There's enough going on, shagging and popping and explosions. I knew
I'll be
Mal would
honest
get
with you,
it.
Scott, if there was explosions, it could possibly be the best fucking show I've ever seen. in my life. Maybe a midget cameo or something like that. I'd be just like, listen, West Wing. I'll probably do West Wing after this now because I'm just kind of into that vibe now. But what I was kind of thinking, right? And what do you think about this? So Kevin Spacey is the lead, right?
Yep.
So he was getting plaudits left, right, and centre
Oh,
for his role in this, and quite rightly so.
sensational.
Because you're believing in him, you're hating this guy,
Aye.
right?
But that's how
Do you
good an
think
actor
that
is.
was? I know, but do you think that actually was part of his downfall? So he's
No.
get done touching up the wee boys. Folk already hated him, the character Frank, and they put the character Frank
No,
and
no,
and
no.
him touching wee guys together, and just went,
No.
"You're going down to Chinatown."
No, I think he was just part of the Me Too movement that gets swept up. I think a lot of that as well has been like, you know, I think when that first came out, it was like, right, Kevin Spacey's getting it, and then they tick the box to say, right, well, that's every person who's gay that's ever been assaulted dealt with, because nothing else has come out. What else has come out since that? You're telling me that Kevin Spacey is the only gay actor in Hollywood that was having inappropriate relationships or inappropriate sexual advances to men, younger boys? You're telling me he's the only one that's doing that? Lot of nonsense. Something that's
I
happened.
don't think it was just because he was gay. I think it was because he was having sex with minors. I don't know
if they were minors. I think there was claims that he was maybe grooming younger boys, but I don't think he slept with them until they were older. Remember the wee guy was on going like, and he made me give him a blowjob and he gave me a $20,000 watch. I'd be like, Kevin Spacey, you can shoot in my coop and give me a $20,000 watch. First thing I'd be saying is,
phone me anytime, play a game of fives with you.
Kevin, you ever play fives? I'd be saying, see if I was Kevin Spacey, I'd be like, all right, wee man, see that watch? Get that fucking watch back now.
Too right.
When they fucking get all this and keep the watch, no
fucking
chance.
When I'm watching the rings when I'm fisting you, you wee fucking gimp.
Mate, you need a cuddle, man. Something's happened.
I think I'll get high blood pressure, Scott.
You definitely have. Your face is red raw. It's the red meat and the fucking booze, man. You need to give it a break.
I have a few drinks every night.
Mate, you need to give it a break, man.
I'm not drinking that much.
Dude, you're drinking every night. It's the red meat, man. You need to fucking cut down the red meat, mate. You need to. You need to get a bit of fish in there. But House of Cards is
amazing.
And it's I am obviously right. You know,
have you watched the English one?
I tried to watch it, but the problem is for me, mate, I've got this weird thing where I don't really like very old television because it doesn't fit the screen and it's shot quite badly because it's so old. So I couldn't get into it because it's very old. It's about 50-year old now.
No, it's not that.
It's made in the 70s.
Was it?
I think so. I was in the 70s and 80s.
Right. I thought it was maybe like 80s, 90s or something. But even that's fucking 30 years ago, innit? Fuck's sake.
So it's a bit older and it's a bit more. It's no as. I think people like it because it's obviously British and it was the original one, but it doesn't have
the shock factor.
No, it doesn't have that Hollywood fucking, you know.
Because that's what I was thinking. The shit that he's doing, no way was that on TV back in the day, man. You know, I also don't want to put any spoils out for anybody watching it, but there's shit happenings in.
So have you seen him when he? See, I don't know how far you're in. I don't know, and I can't remember what it was.
He's killed two folk.
Has one of them been a young female reporter?
Yes, that's
right,
the bit I went, holy fuck!
With the train?
Yes.
Aye, right, okay.
I shouted it. Holy fuck!
Aye, I went like, shit! But all right, even
that
as well.
Shagging one more time, Frank.
Like, see, when I told you to watch it, I was thinking about all the things in my head that you would enjoy, and that storyline of them having a cuddle, I was like, I know Mal's going to love that.
Because even the fact that, I mean, this is the thing which, you know, it disgusts you and intrigues you at the same time. You're going, there's that wee female journalist basically hooring her body out to get stories to do well in her job. Now, and you go, that's fucking disgusting. But again, that's probably life, and that's probably what happens in those circles. And there probably is, and will be, and always will be, male and female people who will use their sexuality.
Of course there is.
Man.
Of course there is. Of course there is. It's a great show because it's one of those things where you watch it and you think, you feel sorry for people who are inherently evil. because you find yourself feeling sorry for him.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's written in a way where you're almost rooting for the bad guy.
I know.
That's when you think you know something's clever. When you actually like the bad
What's
guy,
what's his wee
even though you know the
sidekick's-
shit he's done.
What's his wee sidekick's name again?
He's good.
He's fucking brilliant. Doug. Oh, what a
He's
character,
the
man.
shadow, isn't he, man? He's pretty much right from the start. You know, he's the mover on the shaker, isn't it? He's just the way he's calm and he holds everything down.
Oh, imagine the stress that people at that level of politics is under. The amount of cover-ups you're dealing with,
Aye.
murders, rapes, fucking everything.
All the people you're lying with, juggling to,
and you're trying to keep a country going, build a global economy, and then run for re-election. I mean, we should probably talk a bit about the American election as well. Did you?
Aye, but there's the thing. So that's what I think that's what drew me in as well. I was watching it, and that starts off with like a new president being sworn in.
And how good was that? Even when he's standing in the back, you're like, that looks as if he's at the inauguration.
Aye,
it just looks great.
And I was thinking that's what's happening in America right now. So cue to where you're at now, what you were saying.
Mate, madness, utter madness, man. I think that this is not over yet, man. There's definite twists in the tail, and I think, see, when Trump leaves and he has that last address to the union or State of the Union, whatever it's called, when he just does his final. Mate, I hope he just, do you know what? I hope Trump just, because the thing about Trump is there's clearly corruption in American politics. Clearly corruption. You don't have the same
politics.
You don't have the same group of names, same people. Joe Biden, fucking Senate for this, Senate for that. Barack Obama's vice president. Now suddenly he's back and he's pushing forward. Now suddenly Joe Biden's president. It's the same people: the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bushes. It's the same names over and over again, who all come from a class of people, a political class that have connections to the real powers that run the world. Global fucking politics, right? Money, that's what runs the world. So a guy like Trump's came along and he's fucked it. He's fucked everything because he's not a politician. And that's what he moved on. And everybody thought, right, he's not a politician, he's got to do it. Now, he's got in there and he's mental and he's realised you've got to play the game a wee bit. And he's fucked it. Some of the stuff he's done is horrendous. But to be fair to him, he has said since day one, politics in Washington in America is corrupt. Now, if he is to come out in that last speech and go, right, are you listening? Here we go, and just work his way through everything, nothing's going to happen to him. He'd be like, right, here's who shot Kennedy. Here's what's happened with Epstein. Just fucking tell it all. Just get it all out there, man, and really fuck them up. That could be the problem.
Businessman, but he's also a businessman. Is he going to maybe go out with a strategy to make him?
Mate, I guarantee you now, Trump will be the richest president in history. There's no way that he is not going to make billions off the back of being president. No way. Because every fucking nutter's going to want to stay in hotels. Everybody's going to want to golf again. And see 6 months down the line, once Biden's in and Biden is dealing with the mess that Trump left behind when he goes out and tells the world exactly what's going on.
Biden guy, he's literally just going to keel over, didn't he?
I think he is. I think that's what they're banking on. I think they're banking on him dying and Kamala Harris taking over as president. But I do think, mate, honestly, I think in 6 months, Trump will be everybody's pal again. He'll go on the talk shows. He'll be funny.
He'll maybe start a TV show again or whatever, innit?
And everybody will watch it. Everybody would watch it. If he started a Kardashian-style fucking Trump, everybody would watch it. He'll go on all the American shows. He'll be like, Mr. President, he's like, oh, what was that like, man? Maybe I was saying I was going to build a wall. Fuck me. And he'll go, that was really stupid. When I go like, hey, you're the one that voted for me. You're the fucking stupid. I was just having a laugh, man. Fuck you. Oh. That's what's going to happen. And the world will love him again.
Well, there was something that caught my attention, what I never thought about. Obviously, a president can only do 2 terms, in it, 8 years.
Yep.
And majority of presidents have done the 8 years. And there's only a 2 or 3 who haven't.
One.
And they've all been laughed. No, there's been a couple in the history.
George Bush Sr. was the first one to only do a single term, and Trump is the second.
Ford.
Did Ford do 1 term as well? But remember, you had Nixon resigned through his term.
Because they listed it and they were saying Trump believes he's a winner and only lasting 1 term in American presidency is viewed as losing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that they're saying, that he's going to be bitter about that stigmatism, being a loser.
So I was reading an article, right, that made me think about something. And the article was how so it talks about it as the global economic powers, right? Global economic powers. And it's people like people who run power companies, people who run banks, people who run businesses or have personal wealth that keeps global economies moving. Basically, the lizard people that run the world, right?
The 1%.
The 1%, they wanted Biden in because Biden is status quo back to normal when things are trading. America is in wars. Any war, America's there. And if America's in a war, they're making guns, they're making bullets, they're making tanks.
Making
That
money.
keeps the economy going. They build them there. The steel comes from China. The technology comes from here. That keeps everything going. America is in the climate agreement, like the Paris Agreement. So they start putting money into climate change things. And again, this stuff comes for here and that stuff goes for there. And it keeps the world going, right? You take this wee backhander and I get to fucking sell Amazon products here. And you take that wee bit and everything moves as normal, right? Trump's different thing was Trump will allow all that to happen, but he has to be the top of the tree. And they are going, don't be fucking stupid. We're all just in this tree together. And that's why Trump wouldn't work. So he starts taking America out and he starts to have a voice where some Americans believe America shouldn't be the world police. America doesn't have to be involved in wars. If you want to go and have a war, you go have a war. Fuck all to do with us. But that doesn't help economy move forward, right? Again, in this article, it's talking about a country which it didn't name, but it's obviously one of the Arab countries, right, where a woman was murdered. She was basically killed because she had an affair, or her husband had an affair, and she asked for divorce or something. So they fucking stoned her to death, right? And this article was all about how, at the time, America was outraged by it and saying this is shocking, and the rights of women should be viewed differently, and it's time that this country got themselves at the dark ages, and women should not be treated in this way. 1 week later, they sold $2 billion worth of arms to that country.
Man.
So the article's all about how, like, status quo politics is on the front of it, you need to be outraged by things, but under the table, you're giving them $2 billion worth of tanks because that keeps people working, right?
What you see in a House of Cards, all the games.
Exactly, but that's how when you watch these things, you go, this is fucking real. So that's why they're happy that Biden is back in, because he goes back to status quo, getting things turning, getting things moving, and everybody fucking stays happy. You go to work, you're none the wiser, whereas there's billion-dollar traders. I mean, look at his son, the whole thing in the news about his boy is involved with this fucking Ukrainian power company that happened after there was a revolution in Ukraine. And Biden's like, I don't know anything about it. And then it comes out Biden was part of the meetings and part of the setup. And then $1.5 billion in aid was given to Ukraine from America after it.
And
it's all. That's why I hope when Trump leaves, he just says, right, here's the fucking truth. Here's what's happening. All the best. I'm out.
Here's the mess that you fucking left yourselves in. I mean, I don't like getting swayed by just maybe one video. I've never been aware of Biden or even interested, but I watched some video. It was just him creeping out hunters of wee wains and whispering in their ears and patting them and touching them. And I just thought, even if that's just a highlight or once in a blue moon, it's just something creepy about that. Something no right. You know, is he
something's going on, man.
Is he do you think he's a wee piddly fiddly with the veins?
Apparently, he likes him young, man. He likes him young. He's just an old. The thing is, man, he's an old racist. Do you know what I mean, like when he calls people the blacks and stuff, like that cringe as fuck.
But that thing he said the video, I know, and he's went, you know, but kids, disadvantaged kids.
Aye.
And he basically just turned it on blacks, which shows you the way his mind's working. It's not even like a human race. It's like white folk and fucking blacks. And
I mean, the fact that you're going to have a 78-year-old president is insane.
But is that not the kind of norm? Because they're usually all fucking old.
I know, but that's I think that they shouldn't be. Do you mean American politics is insane, man? It's fucking insane.
Be young. That's what I was thinking as well with the West House of Cards. Sorry, I'm thinking, do these cunts ever sleep? The hours that they're up, the hours they work.
Sure, but that was the thing. Fucking Maggie Thatcher used to run on 4 hours sleep. Sure, that was her thing. 4 hours sleep. That's what you used to get.
And you get a kind of a reason. You get a kind of answer to why all the mad shit that's going on. Here's the thing: presidents are so old. If you put that into any other situation, any other business, any company, you stick an old 78-year-old guy in the charge. It's a fucking recipe for disaster.
I know, but surely that should be a warning to people to say that they are actually not. They're not
Fit.
like there are not even that. There are people who think the president runs the country. Like he or she is sitting there going, right, do this, do that. They're just a fucking folk. They're just a face. They're just a figure.
Yep.
Do you mean it's just an idea, an office, the office of the president?
It's a centre point to folk.
There's people like
focus on.
fucking Frank Underwood, mate, who are out there fucking pushing journalists in front of trains running the world,
You're
man.
mad, Doug. Okay,
Aye, Doug Stamper or whatever his name
Don't
is.
need worry, Doug Stamper. Don't need to worry about it.
I love Doug, man.
There's 10 grand. And there's an extra
such-
couple of hundred. Get this in your mouth.
Such a good show. So the point I was trying to make, right, was that in the article it was saying that COVID has been such a benefit to the Biden camp because obviously people have been stuck in the house. They're actually having to listen to what Trump's saying. The economy's gone to shit. They're not dealing with it well, and the global economy can't move because of COVID. So my argument, or what I was thinking is, was this actually released by this 1% lizard people, the global powers? Did they manufacture COVID with the Chinese, with the Americans, and release it in order to get Trump out?
I genuinely believe, for whatever reason, and that's a good point, that COVID was manufactured and fucking.
Mate, there's no doubt in my mind
Aye, no
that
doubt
it's a
about it.
chemical
It's-
weapon. It's been manufactured and released. No doubt in my mind. This whole idea of it came from bats and bats fucking get off with a mouse and mouse get off with a rabbit and then Bob's your uncle, we're all dying. Nonsense. I also think as well, it's quite interesting that there's only been, and I mean, I know it's a terrible amount of people, 230,000 deaths in America. I thought it was far greater than that. I think we've passed 50,000 deaths. And again, I thought it was far higher than that in the UK.
Do you think we're going to go to herd immunity?
Don't know, mate.
Or is it
Don't
going
know.
to be. I think this vaccine's a fucking lot of bullshit. I think it's an excuse to cover up that COVID's no as bad as everybody's. Again, I know all that anybody who dies, like I've said a million times, it's a death too many. But when you actually look at the numbers, it's maybe not as deadly as what they're scaring us to think it should be. So
No, I
this
don't-
vaccine is just a kind of smokescreen to go, right, we're all fine now, we've had the vaccine, back to work.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And
it's-
even like
and we could go
when-
back to work without it.
Even when they says when it's 90%, what does that mean? Now, is that just political talk for covering your back so that they can't be sued? And then the Russians came out this morning and went, well, our vaccine is 92% successful. So we shit on your
His
vaccine.
vodka.
Yeah,
We injected the vodka.
Do you remember the president of Ukraine at the start of this said the way to combat COVID is drink vodka and do a good day's work in the field?
Listen, there's fuck all wrong with that.
Remember Trump was saying you should drink bleach?
Well, everybody's get their theory.
I don't know about the vaccine. And all the stuff that's coming out going, I'm not getting it because Bill Gates is trying to put a fucking chip in my brain. Do you know what? If you think that you see if the powers that be are wanting to chip all us so they control us, what is you're never going to fight against it. And see if the governments turn around and went, look, we're going to let you go back to normal. Scott, we're going to let you do gigs again. You can do your tour. You can be a comedian again. We just need to put a chip in your brain so we can track you. I'll be like, put 2 in there. I don't give a fuck. You're never going to
Serious?
stop it. What are you going to
I would
stop?
be. Again, it's almost hypocritical. Well, I'm going to say I wouldn't like to be chipped and tracked, but technically, you've got that with your smartphone. It's in your
Of
pocket.
course, you're chipped and tracked now. You're chipped and tracked now. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm just not happy about it. I'm like,
No.
no, I don't want it because it's not £1,000. It's not for Apple.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give because the
What
world's
they should,
got to
what
go
they should
back to
do
normal.
is just make it easy and just go, right, listen, we're going to give every cunt in the world an iPhone 11 for free, carry it about with you all the time, and then they've got us chipped and tracked, and you're getting something out of it. You want
No,
kiss before
an
you get
Apple
fucked.
Watch, an iWatch, and
An
everybody's
iWatch,
got a watch.
whatever it is. It could be an iWatch, could be an iPhone, whatever. Just wear it all the time, take it away all the time, and then people will be a wee bit more acceptable to offering other data and movements because we're kind of data. Anyway, let's move on. A couple of wee questions. Let's keep it upbeat. It's a hunter.
Keep it upbeat. I'm going to mention a few things here, right? I'm just going to read out a couple of these because people have got in touch on the Patreon. for just giving us some ideas of their memories over the years as well. And I just wanted to read some of these out. First of all, Peter O'Donnell. Peter went out and bought an Alexa.
LP.
Peter went out and bought an Alexa over the weekend after listening to the Alexa episode.
That's brilliant.
It says, "Cheers, lads. I'm off for the drink and into in-depth questions with a fucking bot. I'm still on the tonic. Keep the laughs coming. Loving it. Thanks to Peter for that. David Mackay, listen to Hashtag Boys for a long time now and got my wee brother into it. And can easily say it's the best podcast about. Whenever I'm feeling shit and need a giggle, I tune into the Hashtag show and I'm cheered up for hours on end. Still believe the best celebrity square go is Dwight York fighting Harvey Price. I was driving that night and I had to pull over as there was tears streaming down my face. He's talking as well about Tom Moore, the impersonations as well. Davey Byrne giving us some of his memories. The dead celebrities, fancy dress we had for one of the Hashtag lives. Black James Bond seems to be a favourite of people. Butchers of Ballarnock, Half a Tomato, Harvey Price versus Dwight York, Bagpipe Blowjob. Look forward to the next 100. Mark Hughes as well. Thanks for your shout out, boys. Get in touch. Kenny Bridges as well. Honestly, lads, I've been in utter stitches. Listened to the podcast over the last year. Signed up for the Patreon. Well done. Cannot wait to go to a live podcast. Sorry, I'm rambling. Here's to another 100. Hashtag taking over the podcast game. So thanks to everybody who did get in touch with us. It's been mental, mate. It's 100 shows, man. It's been absolutely mental. I was listening back to some of the old ones the other day as well. Black James Bond is still one of the best. I stumbled across the remember the chat we used to have about Valerian Steele.
Aye, Jon Snow.
That Jon Snow tickled me, man. That for me is up there with some of the best banter we've been on. I'm trying to think of some of the old stuff that's been on the show as well. I mean, obviously the recent things stay in my head with Houston and Alexa.
The Ned's in Space.
Ned's in
Houston.
Space.
There was one, I can't remember what one it was or what the banter was about, but I was out on my bike and I was listening to it and I honestly was fucking in tears. And it was the one, the only reason I remember it is with the Stone Roses music was in it, but the banter in that was fucking brilliant. And which leads me on to say, what we're doing now is...
Yes, let's talk about that.
Our full back catalogue is moving to Patreon and we're going to release on the Council channel a sort of small best of episodes. So the first one is due next week, which is a compilation of episodes 1 to 5, but you can find the full episodes on Patreon. And that's something that we can hopefully put out regular, just editing up a few shows and putting out these teasers. And I was listening to them and they're funny. But what made me want to do was listen to the rest of the shows. See, I was like, well, obviously people were suggesting what bits in that, but when I was mining through them, I found myself just fucking listening to shows.
Yep.
As opposed to fucking try to do what I was doing to take bits out of it.
Yep.
So it was quite, it was
I mean, a lot of people had got in touch to say that they had gone back to listen to old ones and they're no longer available on Podbean and Spotify.
Absolutely goddamn right.
So again, what Mal's saying, the old shows from the start, they are now available on Patreon only. Well, not yet. They're going to be released after episode 100. So if you want to go back to the very start and listen to the beginning, listen to the early shows, the only way to do that from now on will be on Patreon. That's where the back catalogue will live and will remain. It also frees up a bit of space on the Podbean as well, so that we can make sure that the shows continue to come to you as regular as they do. So,
and for me as well, I think it's just an extra thank you to the people who are patrons and genuinely making the show, supporting the show and helping make the show happen. I think it's just important that they guys and girls have got the best of what we've got to offer, and that's a fucking back catalogue. That's it's fucking over 100 episodes, man. It's a big library there.
It is, and once episode 100 goes up, the Patreon will be streamlined a bit more, so you'll be able to access it easier for those of you who are on the Patreon. So the episodes will be split into audio and video format, so it's easy for you to jump between the two just by clicking on the tags. And again, if you've got it in your RS feed, then the episodes will be able to play on your podcast player, however you get it. So just to recap that, all of the back catalogue episodes are migrating over to Patreon as well for the heroes. So another reason to become a hashtag hero, if you are not already, and you do that by signing up through Patreon, patreon.com/the hashtag show. It costs as little as £1 a week, and you can access all of the content, including hero episodes, including the specials. So we have got Celebrity Square Go special coming up for the heroes. They'll be coming out very soon. It's in the bag, recorded, edited, ready to drop. As well as
next week.
Next week, as well as that special episode Mal was talking about, where we look back over the best bits from episode 1 to 5, and we will keep then going for some of the older episodes as well. So that will be coming out very soon. And like Mal says, if you want to check out those old episodes, then become a Patreon.
I think as well on Patreon we'll bleed them 10 episodes every so often. I don't think we'll just rattle. Well, obviously we can because it's such a fucking shift uploading them, blah blah. Maybe bleed them out 10 at a time or something on Patreon. But yeah, thank you. I'd like to be more organised. In my head, I had hundreds of things I wanted on my phone, on my computer, to cast back and talk about 100 episodes. But like everything else, we kind of sit down, talk about what we've got today. Then the show really is flying in the seat of pants or whatever the saying is.
But I think we'll probably wrap this one up here. But we just, again, for everybody who's got in touch, we just want to say, generally, I know sometimes we take the piss and we have a joke, but generally, cannot thank you all enough for your support. And I don't just mean to the heroes, although we love you more, to everybody in the Patreon, to everybody who shares the podcast, to everybody who mentions it to their pals, who plays it in their work. That, for me, I find that really cool, if I'm being honest, when people get in touch and say they've got it on in the garage or they've got it on in the depot or they're playing
it's rootsy, isn't it? It's ground level. Yeah.
But generally, to everybody who's been with us, and I know there are people who are listening who have been with us since episode 1, we cannot thank you enough. Thank you for supporting the live shows. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Please continue to do so. We've got so many things we want to do. We've got a lot of ideas that we want with the show, but to do that, we need to grow the Patreons and the heroes a little bit more in order to give us that comfort. So if you're not already a hero, please consider signing up. Patreon.com/the hashtag show. You'll get access to everything and you'll help the show grow.
I think this show, we started off excited, but we've actually, or me anyway, I just feel overwhelmed that we've done 100 episodes. We're where we're at. I'm happy where we're at. I'm comfortable where we're at. And I feel overwhelmed.
I mean, I honestly, I don't know what to say. The fact we've hit 100, I'm just glad we've done it. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad that, because there's been times in the past where I thought the show wouldn't be back, you know?
Well,
and we had it. We did. Let's be honest, we did have a couple of hard times when we were trying to get everything together. And I am delighted we've hit 100, and I feel as if we're in a good space now, and it's, you know, I can see the show growing and we've got a good rhythm, and I'm just glad we've built this body of work. That's what I always wanted.
Body of work, lovely body of work.
When we first started, I was like, you know, how cool it would be to get to 100 and then, you know, 200, 500 episodes, like 1,000 episodes. It would be fucking amazing. So let's keep it going, man.
I actually think it's probably more run about. So, because the fact that it's 100th episode, but it's no, annoys me, because it's actually about 100, maybe 110 episodes when you add on the extra live shows in that. Because in my head, I would like them all to be numbered for what they were, but we've done a couple of 56.5s and stuff like that.
And Patreon only specials as
Patreon
well.
Patreon only. That doesn't sit right in my fucking head when I think about 100 episodes.
Well,
but
just don't worry about it.
We've done more than 100 episodes. We're brilliant. You're brilliant. You're brilliant. I'm brilliant. It's all brilliant. Like that, man. I was like that to the guy, and I was like, if you, it's all great. And I just think I want to try and finish in a high. Because I don't want folk going, well, 100's a bit of a fucking anticlimax. We're overwhelmed.
What's been your highlights from the last 5 years?
Right. Here it is. I'm just like to be honest with everybody, right? Cheeky Mal is a character. This isn't the real me. Yeah. And I think the fact that I've managed to stay in character for over 100 episodes, and quite rightly so, and also convince all you lot that I am this cheeky mal guy. As an actor, as a broadcaster,
Father,
it's
a
possible.
lover, a
Father,
husband.
lover, husband, music maker, star maker, dream maker, soul shaker. It's been a highlight. Highlight for me is just as for the our first chats to what we would be, what the podcast would be. To me, even going, I had been to your shows, I'd been to Gary's shows, and I genuinely regard these both as funny guys that make me laugh. To be able to sit in the room with you three, and at the start, I really did feel out my depth, going, what am I bringing to the table other than fucking the music guy?
But how many times did I say to you at the start that's nonsense?
I know, but like, think, so my podcast was like mixing music, right? And then now I'm sitting doing a talking podcast.
music to batter the wife to.
Exactly. A domestic abuse podcast I had.
Soundtrack.
So I'm sitting with used to, and I'm, even when we're talking, you genuinely, you can know yourself when something's funny and something's no funny. We're genuinely laughing, sometimes with tears in our eyes.
Yep.
So I'm in this company where it's genuinely like, I'm almost like a free live show, listening to funny guys talk. And then to that not even being a thought anymore, and it's just two mates talking and genuinely laughing at the stories, the interactions, and it almost makes me feel like I'm a wee guy at school again, just having a laugh and a giggle with no rules and no, oh, you can't do that, you can't say that. We can do whatever the fuck we want, and if people choose to be offended, let them be offended.
It's good to be offended. Makes you feel alive.
Exactly. At least you're having an opinion on something. Fucking, so for being out my day, I always like, what I'm saying is, I always, even in my music, I like to do things where I'm slightly out of depth, because I think when that happens, that's when you get your best things. And I think with this podcast, I was certainly out my depth, but now I don't even think about it. I'm just enjoying the moment when we hit record. And
yep,
it was a bit serious for Cheeky Mal there, wasn't
it's good for you, mate. I'm going to give you some of my highlights that I've been thinking about.
Yes.
Right.
I know you highlights because I hear you laugh. I know when you've lost it, your wee high pitch fucking laugh.
I'm going to talk about more like, my experience with the show. For me, one of the things that shot me, but
you've wrote this down, aren't you? Reading off
no.
Fucking.
When we first started recording this show 5 years ago, your Waynes were Waynes. I remember your daughter used to slide wee notes under the door telling you she loved you. And now she's a young woman. Do you know what I mean?
Give me the finger.
Telling you fuck off. Desperate, going like, where's my dinner? Do you mean things like that? That in itself is a perfect example of how long we've been doing it, because your Waynes have gone from Waynes to young adults. Do you know what I mean? Highlights for me, obviously because I'm a fat bastard, a lot of things are based around food. The first time your missus made me that apple pie, unbelievable.
Beautiful.
When me and you, because Gary never turned up, got a breakfast at Wild Cabaret at the start of the live show, unbelievable.
And how raging was Gary when he found out? And
Absolutely.
we got a curry in the way out, Scott, remember?
Mate, he was fucking beeling.
That's how he quit.
Full fry up and a coffee. He was fuck all. He was raging. That's a memory. Gary always turning up with his packed lunch to the first recordings and then wouldn't give us any sandwiches. That was
He used to come to episodes with a packed lunch. But then again, that's classic Gary, isn't it?
Classic Gary, man. Remember he used to come with his wee pieces in his bag and he'd put it on top of the speaker. Maybe like, what have you got today? Nothing for you. As if we're going to steal his pieces off him.
Aye.
That was a highlight. Drunk Mal at the live recordings getting led into a motor. That's been a highlight. The getting the piss taken out of me for my music choices in the early shows.
And
highlights.
I would like to think you've maybe thought about music a wee bit more.
I have.
Appreciate music a wee bit more.
You've dragged me into that life.
That's great.
The first live thing that we recorded in the Classic Grand, you remember when the three of us were there?
Aye.
And we had Ross doing the music.
How fucking wasted we were on them as the show went on.
What a laugh that was as well. What a laugh that night was. There's been loads, man. The live shows for me have been something spectacular, man. I never in my wildest dreams thought we could make something as mental as they had, but we did, man. Like even in the green room in the back, some of the laughs we have in there is fucking unbelievable. I'm thinking back to that video when I was wrapping you in tinfoil, mate. I was in tears
Aye.
wrapping you in tinfoil in the Wild Cabaret when Gary was steaming and locked himself in the toilet and trapped the fucking dancer's
shoe?
clades on. And she was, I remember coming in the back and there's a woman like in a thong and a fucking corset top going off her nut because her shoe's trapped in the door and Gary's in steaming in the bathroom when they let her get into the room.
Puco Urum.
Oh, even those early days, man, the banter as well. The woman telling us that we'll never be back because there's blood and glass all over the stage. I was
Aye,
like,
what a
fucking
fucking
hell.
That's like a wee accolade to us. I think that's like a fucking getting a medal when shit
Totally,
like that
man.
happens.
Totally.
What-
That,
what-
Black James Bond, Valerian Steel, Ned's in Space. When you think back to some of the stuff that's come up in the show, and the most amazing thing is, if people really knew how little preparation we do for this, is amazing. It's amazing how much of it comes out. But it's been great, man. It's been great. The first 100's been brilliant. I think the show's only going to get stronger. I think the stuff's only going to get better. And the ideas we've got, I think the show's going to be brilliant. I really do. So thank you.
Before you tell me what your favourite live show was, right?
Yep.
What? Just as you were saying that, all the mad patter and all the mad characters, it's brilliant. When remember we done a cut. It was one of the live shows, and guys dressed up as the butchers of Balornock, and then there
Yep.
was things that we've said on the show that maybe you get it's such a bit of banter, and then somebody comes dressed as that character, or somebody says that to you on the street or a message, and
Justice
you go,
for-
fucking hell, that's a real
Justice for
thing now."
Frank. I'm a Frank Skerritt. Somebody dressed as Frank Skerritt.
Aye, that's right, man. And,
Somebody did a
and
Justice for Frank t-shirt.
Anarchy George.
Anarchy
fucking-
George.
There was one of the lives where it was like loads of folk were dressed up as hashtag characters, and I was like, "Fucking it, this is like a no
It
a
was
cult,
brilliant.
but this is like a mad fucking."
It was the Butchers of Balornock, still one of the best groups, fancy
It
dress
was like
man.
6 guys or something.
Remember
wasn't
there was people dressed as Jimmy Savile as well for
it? Aye,
the fancy dress one. The best live show for me was the when we had the Ring Girls and we had the balloon drop. That was the best one for me. I don't know what one
when
it
we
was.
get
Was it
brought in
6
with
maybe?
the darts kind of intro.
Aye, that was my favourite one because we had the balloon drop, and I think that was the last one we were all together as well, and it was the 3 of us. That was my favourite one.
Everything's a blur as to what ones were what.
I know that's the thing. They all met because I can't remember if that was the first one when we dropped the Belinda Carlisle. I drove all night as well, and we were talking about the McCanns versus the Wests. I think that was that one as well.
It might have been.
I drove all night.
And
That's
folk
that's
dressed
one of
up
my
coming out in a
aye.
fucking Sunday afternoon, dressed like a fucking.
because I always think of them leaving there at like 6 o'clock, blind
Steaming.
drunk on
Aye.
a Sunday.
And the
That
classic
Belinda
band saying
Carlisle,
we've never sold so much drink in all their fucking days on a Sunday or whatever.
that I drove all night. I'll never forget because I was at the decks and Chris put the lights on as well. And I remember just looking up, and that was when we had people up the top deck, and the place was going fucking mad. And I remember thinking, "What is this, man?" I drove all night.
Yeah, it's
Everybody's
fucking
cheering. I can't wait to see the next live show, mate. After lockdown, it's going to be
It's gonna be amazing.
spectacular. Who's been your favourite live guest?
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. You know, I've got a soft space in my heart for
Thanks,
the
Nancy.
Reverend.
Oh, the Rev, right?
The
Okay,
Rev, right? So like Jim, the Reverend Obadiah, what is it?
Steppenwolf the third.
I could listen to him all fucking day,
I know.
every day. Frank Sinatra, if there ever was a musical guest that fitted in other than Misa Ross, it's fucking Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I mean,
There's just something.
the very first time I ever saw him, I just thought we need him for hashtag. He'd be spectacular. And then, do you know what I like as well? See when we got him confirmed, I knew you would love him. I knew as soon as he started. I knew as soon as he started, you would fucking love it, man.
And a couple
Start
of folk were at that
gassing the
one.
Jews.
See, and a few folk actually was like offended, but then see the next time he was here, they were back wanting more.
My favourites have definitely been Frank Sinatra and Paul Curry. I
Aye,
love Paul.
Panda Hands, man. Your
Brilliant.
man, he was fucking amazing.
That's been my two over
And
the over the years.
I tell you, bizarrely, even though the mad guests we get, that's what I like about it. Just the edginess of it all. the boy who done the Jesus thing was really good. And
Aye,
you know how
yep.
all that stuff comes about. And then
he never get paid.
to be pumped
Remember he was
Jesus,
hanging about. He was hanging about because Gary was steaming.
Gary
and
was
hadn't
steaming away
paid.
with the money. But then mind that time, that was what was good about the Wild Cabaret, where it was just all these kind of fucking mad performers, and you were like,
Yeah.
mate, what, you're a sword swallower?
Aye.
What should you take to go out and just swallow a couple of swords? Mind that.
Remember
and the
that
cunt
boy?
did it.
Aye.
We gave him
20
20
quid. What is it you do? Remember that guy? He creeped me out, man. He
was trying to deal with
he
the
wanted
fucking
to
your back in
shag
the room
us on
stuff
the
to
girl.
us.
I was like, this is too much, man. Because it was you again. Once you get a drink in you, you're brittle, man. Because I was embarrassed, and you just kept going, how much would it? How much do you want to take on? And the guy's like 20 quid. And I'm going, mate, he's going to give you 20 quid. And then next minute, the boy's on swallowing a sword. Do you remember we did? I'm getting flashbacks. Remember you done that Gangnam Style? Or no, was it the what's the thing when you go room with the camera and then everybody starts
have
going
we done
mental?
that in the club and everybody stayed still?
Yeah. Aye, because
You
you
done
were
the
doing the wee
statue thing?
zombie, and then everybody was going fucking bananas. Everybody was going
That's
nuts.
right.
That was in. So man, even moving from
Even the bar staff done it. Mine,
Aye.
they were all like,
even
fucking
moving it
mad.
from the Wild Cabaret to Classic Grand. At the start, I didn't know if that was a good move for us or not. I mean, we couldn't go back to Wild Cabaret, right? Because they were
we're banned for
disgusted by us.
life.
But see, as soon as we done the first one at Wild Cabaret, I was like, this is perfect. This is Classic Grand. I was like, this is where it's meant to be.
Aye.
It's just a brilliant room for the show.
And we look forward to getting back there.
Can't wait, man. The first live show back is going to be spectacular, and I hope.
But then that shows you the strength of the fucking pot. I mean, not only is it listened to by tens of thousands of folk worldwide, the fact that we can do a live show and sell out venues such as the Classic Grand on, I always hate using the word, but fans of the show.
Yeah, totally. Aye.
It's fucking mind blowing.
Totally.
Fans of what? Well, when you got me into listening to talk podcasts, right? Because I'd never listened to him before. I kind of drifted in it, no really go at it. Then I was listening to a few, and things like Rogan and Bill Burr and stuff, and I'm going, it's fucking great and all that. But like you say, other things, there's isn't nothing to it, like folk have sent me podcasts and going, check this is what I do. And maybe because it's no yours, I'm just no into it. No, I'm like, cheers, mate, all the best. Good luck to you. But hey, equally, if we inspire any listener to go and start a podcast,
Totally,
by all
man.
means, fucking
Aye.
get in about it. Because it's
Totally.
it's a great thing. You benefit as much as a listener.
Yep. And to everybody who listens, to everybody who shares it, we can't thank you enough. So here's to 100. Here's to the next 100. Who knows what the show's going to be like when we're sitting here at episode 200. But either way, we've got big plans for the show. There's lots of stuff we want to do. And it's going to be great. So thank you to everybody who supports us, who listens, and we hope you continue to do so.
I mean, just to wind it up, I just like to say to everybody, it doesn't really matter if you just, if you're angry or you're sad or you find yourself in a place where there isn't any doors opening for you. We'll always be here, and you'll not know if I'm angry or I'm sad. I'll just keep talking to you, and I'll make you happy. And just maybe after a wee game of football, when we all get back together, we can have some banter in the shower. All the best. God bless.
Episode 100 done.
I miss it because we don't play the music and you don't say hit it. Maybe we should bring back music in certain episodes.
Maybe we should bring back. How would it work though? Can we play music?
Well, that's the fucking difficulties you run into then, isn't it?
It's still because we started to get any bother on iTunes and we can't play music on YouTube. That's the other thing.
God damn it.
I'll just say hit it to finish it off with, like the old days.
Hit it.
Hit it.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Okay. Great. Good night. I love you. Okay.
The HashTag show.co.uk.